My name is Carmen. Standing outside the once prestigious hotel now in ruins, broken glass under my feet and abandoned furniture scattered around, I'm reminded of the chain of events that led to its downfall. It all started with a simple act of planning a birthday celebration for my father-in-law, Henry. I remember that fateful day at the hotel like it was yesterday. The lobby was bustling with guests, and we had just settled under the grand chandelier, waiting for Henry. The manager, a young man named Leo, with his sharp eyes and haughty demeanor, stormed towards us. "You again? Have you learned nothing? How dare you return to my hotel? And arriving in a minivan, no less. You're a nuisance," he bellowed. I was furious. "We're here to celebrate my father-in-law's birthday. I made a reservation. Is there a rule against arriving in a certain type of car? What exactly is the problem?" I shot back, refusing to be intimidated. Our heated exchange drew everyone's attention. Leo sneered, "Your clothes alone prove that you don't belong here. You're dressed so casually. You'd be better off at a run-down inn." Whispers spread among the onlookers, with many muttering that a hotel should welcome all guests. Embarrassed but still defiant, Leo turned red and declared, "This is a high-class establishment. We cater to celebrities. If you're poor, then leave." Just then, Henry finally spoke. His voice was calm yet authoritative. "Well, then, let's all leave." His words sent a shockwave through the lobby. To my astonishment, several guests immediately stood up and began leaving, muttering their disappointment with the hotel. A chaotic argument broke out between the departing guests and hotel employees trying to stop them. Unbeknownst to Leo, everyone in the lobby was there because of Henry. He had been a loyal patron of this hotel for years. In the early days of his career, he often visited in his work clothes, and the hotel's hospitality, which never discriminated against guests, had won his heart. Over time, he introduced the hotel to his family, and their businesses frequently held events there. Each member of my husband, Victor's, family was a company president, and their high-profile events had greatly contributed to the hotel's success. Suddenly, a frantic voice called out, "Please forgive me." Leo's father, the hotel's president, had arrived, summoned by the senior employee who had recognized Henry. The president profusely apologized for his son's behavior, forcing Leo to kneel before us in shame. Leo stammered, "I deeply regret my actions. If only I had known who you were." Henry interrupted, "That's exactly the problem. It is wrong to treat people differently based on their wealth." He then turned to the president and said, "I once respected this hotel, but it is no longer the place I once knew. Our association ends here." With that, we left. Instead, we moved the celebration to a cozy family diner I often visited with my own parents. The restaurant had private rooms, no need for reservations, and served fantastic food. My in-laws enjoyed the warm atmosphere, and Henry suggested we invite my parents as well. It turned into a lively, joyful celebration. Victor and I covered the bill, and it was hardly a burden. It reminded me that true happiness doesn't come from wealth, but from the people we share our lives with. Later, I heard that Leo was dismissed and had to start over as a cleaner. 2 years later, the hotel shut down completely. But let me rewind to the beginning of this story. I'm from a middle-class family. My father, David, is a schoolteacher, and my mother, Sarah, is a librarian. I met Victor when I was working part-time at a coffee shop. He was always so composed and kind, and I was immediately drawn to him. When I first visited Victor's parents' home to discuss our wedding, I was in awe. Their mansion was like a small palace, surrounded by a large garden and a private lake. I couldn't believe that Victor, such an unassuming man, came from such a wealthy family. I later learned that Victor's family, including Henry, his mother, Grace, and his sister, Lily, were all successful entrepreneurs. They had built their businesses from the ground up, and Victor was following in their footsteps. He had used his savings from his part-time jobs to start his own tech company, which was growing steadily. I was worried that I wouldn't fit in with his family, but they were incredibly welcoming. Henry said, "Carmen, your kind eyes and warm smile tell me that you're a wonderful person." Victor made the right choice. Grace and Lily were equally friendly, and by the end of the visit, I felt like part of the family. My parents also adored Victor, and they gave their blessing for our marriage. We got married, and Victor wanted me to leave my job and become a full-time housewife to support him. We moved into an apartment near his parents' mansion, and we often attended family gatherings there. 3 months into our marriage, we decided to host a grand celebration for Henry's 65th birthday. As a token of gratitude for all they had done for us during the wedding, Victor and I took it upon ourselves to book the venue. Since Victor was swamped with work, I handled the arrangements myself. "Henry adores you, so you can plan whatever you think he'll enjoy," Victor encouraged me. But this freedom made the task even more daunting. I asked my friend, Mia, for advice, and she recommended a high-end hotel because of Henry's status. After some searching, I found a 5-star hotel near my parents' home. Since I was unfamiliar with luxury hotels, I decided to visit it first. I invited Mia to come with me because I felt uneasy going alone. When I called to make a lunch reservation, the service was so polite and refined that I thought, this place must truly be 5-star. I dressed appropriately, wearing a white silk blouse, a black knee-length skirt, and classic black leather pumps. Mia wore a beautiful floral dress and stylish heels. Driving my old sedan, the same one I had before getting married, I arrived at the hotel. The parking lot staff greeted me courteously, but as soon as I stepped into the lobby, I felt a pair of eyes on me. Leo, the manager, was standing there, eyeing me critically. He was tall, dressed in an expensive suit, and his hair was neatly parted. He approached us and said, in a condescending tone, "This hotel may not be the right fit for you. May I assist you?" I frowned and replied, "I have a lunch reservation." "What do you mean by not the right fit?" His eyes flickered with amusement as he glanced at my car and outfit. "Most of our guests arrive in appropriate vehicles," he remarked, "and your attire is rather..." He paused and then suddenly chuckled. I was infuriated. How dare he judge me based on my appearance? Mia lowered her gaze, visibly embarrassed. I refused to back down. "Are you a staff member here?" I challenged. "I am the manager of this 5-star hotel," he responded smugly. I resisted the urge to roll my eyes. "So, this hotel evaluates guests based on their car and clothing? Do you treat people differently depending on how wealthy they appear?" I asked, standing my ground. He let out an exasperated sigh. "Our establishment upholds a certain level of dignity. We must maintain an ambience where our guests feel comfortable." I narrowed my eyes. "Are you implying that my presence diminishes your hotel's standards?" He clicked his tongue in irritation. I felt awful for dragging Mia into this situation and debated canceling my reservation. Just then, an older hotel employee, Mr. Thompson, approached me with a warm smile. "Ma'am, may I assist you?" he asked. I took a deep breath and explained that I had a reservation for lunch. "Mr. Thompson bowed to Leo before turning to us and saying, "I'll escort you to the restaurant." As he led us to the dining area, Leo shot me a resentful glance. Mr. Thompson was so warm and courteous. "You've come all this way. I'm sorry for the unpleasant experience you had earlier. Please enjoy your meal. Our cuisine is highly regarded." "I hope you have a wonderful time," he said sincerely. I asked him, how did someone so young end up managing such an esteemed hotel? He explained that the original owner had retired, passing ownership to his younger brother, whose son was Leo. The young manager may have graduated from a prestigious university, but he lacks experience in hospitality. He's desperate to maintain the hotel's elite reputation, even if it means turning away long-time customers who don't spend extravagantly, Mr. Thompson said. "I've worked here for decades, but with the hotel's new direction, they believe my services are no longer needed." I'll be leaving at the end of the month, he added sadly. Despite the unpleasant encounter, the food was exceptional, one of the best meals I had ever eaten. The head chef, Chef Martin, came out to greet us. He seemed very skilled, but I couldn't help but wonder if he too would soon be forced out. By the time we finished our meal, Mia and I felt much better. But as we prepared to leave, Leo approached us again. I said, I'll be visiting this restaurant again soon, intending to move on from the encounter. But Leo refused to let it go. People like you degrade the dignity of my hotel. This establishment is meant for celebrities, not commoners. Please leave immediately, he declared, his tone completely devoid of politeness. I was speechless. The hotel itself was magnificent, but Leo's arrogance and hostility made it clear that I could not hold Henry's birthday celebration there. When I told my in-laws about my experience, Henry's eyes twinkled with curiosity. Let's go there. I'd like to see this prestigious hotel for myself, he said. I was puzzled by his enthusiasm, but he instructed everyone to dress casually and told us to go ahead, promising to join us later. And that's how we ended up in that chaotic scene in the hotel lobby, which ultimately led to the downfall of the once great hotel. Now, with the news of my pregnancy, my in-laws are eagerly anticipating the newest addition to our family, and I'm grateful for the bonds we've formed, especially through that difficult experience.